Hello, everyone. Welcome to Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business. It's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today it's time for coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations with the Biz Chicks. I'm Terralina, and I'm here with my partners and friends, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, and Miss Sylviana Moore, your coach for all things marketing. So, with that, we just want to thank you and welcome you to the conversation. We hope you've got your coffee, tea, or whatever it is that you're hydrating with. Lots of good water, and we're going to get this conversation started. How you doing this morning, ladies?
Feeling good.
Well, doing
Good.
well, doing well.
Great. So, what's our topic today, Fran?
We're talking about comfort zones,
Mm.
redefining them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, redefining. There are pros and cons to comfort zones, and then we're going to look at redefining it. You've always heard that we need to step out of our comfort zone
Mm.
and just go for it and whatever. Well, we might want to rethink that.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And I will like to say this, ladies, to be very clear for anyone on here who's like, I want to be in the comfort zone. You on my team. I like the comfort zone, but I love the growth zone, right? I love the growth zone. So I have to put it out there. Your comfort zone is a place where you feel safe. Who doesn't want to feel safe, right? But I have
Mm-hmm.
heard the saying, get uncomfortable being uncomfortable, right? Get comfortable
Right,
being uncomfortable.
right. But there's a way to do that, right? It doesn't mean that you just abandon all of your comfort. You push the boundaries within your comfort zone. So this whole conversation stems from a book I've been listening to, aka reading with my ears. Oh, that's a good way to do that. I've been reading with my ears. Um, Kristen Butler. I've been listening to the audiobook, and she was talking about rethinking that whole thing and not necessarily doing the whole okay, jump out of your comfort zone. I'm over here on Mars now, don't know where the oxygen is coming from. I don't Not that type of get out your comfort zone, but stay on Earth and push our boundaries a little bit. You know what I mean? Just okay.
Okay. Sounds like staying grounded, okay, but
Hmm.
expanding your garden.
And doing you.
I think this is a real interesting topic because so many times we are being urged to do things that really aren't us, all in the name of being on your grind and learning new experiences. And hey, can you hire somebody to do that? If you're not a plumber, just admit it.
Put the wrench down.
Put it down.
I know it would expand my, horizons, and I'd be out of my comfort zone and I'm reading the book and I'm under this. No. Whereas if I were, for instance, for instance, if I were to learn a new skill within that line of thinking, I could do more and then I could pay the
Right,
plumber.
right. And uh, right, because you sewing,
Mhm.
like you normally do your cover-ups, right? So I had this situation, I'm starting to play golf and I wanted this nice little cute golf skirts or whatever. And I'm
Yes,
like,
the sports are out this year.
okay, yeah, well, whatever. I'm like, so why can't I just wear a pair of shorts and then have a wraparound skirt? I was
Okay.
like, just a wrap skirt. The skirt just wraps and snaps. I do not need to try and figure out the configuration for all that other stuff. But you, as a sewing, is that may be an offshoot of your wheelhouse, meaning because you're not making a whole dress. We're taking fabric, 1 square
And
piece.
basically making a sarong.
Exactly. And snap is still a cover up, right? Okay. It's in your
Absolutely.
wheelhouse. It's in your you do. It's not causing you to make the whole rhinestone ball gown and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So, Miss Francine, so you're reading this book called The Comfort Zone. Did I hear that correctly? And
Correct.
it is Butler, the author, questioning the traditional notion of that growth can only happen outside of one's comfort zone. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, what is her perspective? Is she? I looked up the book when you sent it, and it
Mhm.
talked a lot about her introducing the idea of expanding rather than stepping out. So, is she comparing the two?
Right. So you're still within your comfort zone, but you're pushing your boundaries inside your comfort zone instead of getting outside your comfort zone and trying to push some boundaries that you don't even know what's over that. You ain't never been down that road. Try-
And it's like expanding,
Expanding. That's the word.
Yeah.
expanding what you're good at. And
Yes.
I think this is really important, Sylviana, and I think you would agree. We want to be a specialist. We want to be targeted. We don't want to be all over the place because then that makes us what? A jack of all trades and a
Master of none.
Mm,
which is not a cute look.
Absolutely not. But
It's not.
one may say, okay, so you want me to expand but not get out of my comfort zone, right? And so I would question and say, okay, well, anything that I don't know right now is out of my comfort zone because I just don't know it. It brings stress, a level of anxiety. But I think what Butler is saying is choose something that you're quite already familiar with. You're a natural at, right? And then
Mhm, yes.
boundaries of what you don't know within that field. So just like nurse practitioners, you can't know everything about nursing and the medical field. It just can't happen. But you
Mhm,
can gradually continue to get more and more experienced.
and
Exactly.
and expand on your knowledge. I want my doctor to expand from the basics and keep growing, right? I don't want them to stay right here, okay, because that's all they know. On, I don't need you to become a heart surgeon if you're the podiatrist. I just need you to understand toenails, toes, all of that. Do not try and get
mhm,
over into the heart because
mhm.
right? The body is
Correct.
different parts. Stay within your boundaries. Stay in your lane, basically, is what I'm hearing her talk about from this book. Stay in your lane and then expand in your lane in the thing that you do well and not in the thing that everybody else, you don't want to be in everybody else's lane, messing stuff up,
Yes.
knocking the pots off the stove and stuff. Okay, just stay in your lane.
And I think one thing that Butler does, she emphasizes gradual expansion. This is
Mhm.
Mm,
not something that has to happen over time, right? I think in 2024, especially in 2023, everyone to be an expert overnight. Everyone was going to YouTube University. Everyone is trying to figure out, especially now with Chat GPT.
oh
This
yeah.
AI got y'all feeling yourself, if I say so myself. But it's okay to grow in a steady way, right?
Mhm,
That helps you lower your anxiety, that lowers your stress levels because it's not the pressure, right? It's
Mm-mm.
exactly.
fun. Learning is a real thing, guys. Take the pressure off of learning, especially if you're learning about something you already kind of know, you
Mhm,
already are passionate about, right? So I think
mhm,
it's what did they say? Steady wins the race, right? We don't have to
mhm.
move too quickly. We don't have to move too quickly.
No.
I
And
think
then
that
she
is a real concern. People think they get into something and they have to be an expert overnight. And
right.
as a result, they get frustrated and they quit. Also, I think what the author was saying too was that there is a level where you get complacent. Don't
Mhm.
be complacent in what your area of concentration is.
Right.
Always, well, I think we used to call it be a lifetime learner. Be a lifetime learner in what it is that you are good at.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and you'll
Do
enjoy it.
you
Do you?
do you well? Do you boo well? Do it well.
Mhm.
Don't, because sometimes people do them and it's not good, but do you well. Um, what is she saying? She was like, embracing your comfort zone and using it as a foundation
Mm-hmm.
uh, to move up, right? And create a life that you want to live without the stress. Instead, because I know that she gave a lot of examples in the
She
book, and
did.
I suggest you guys to go out and take a gander, listen. There are people trying to do stuff that is totally outside of their realm of expertise or their realm of their own natural makeup. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
fish do not fly.
Exactly.
They stay in the water. You know, they might come up, take a pee, get a breath, and go back. They're not going to stay up here and try to stop. Hey, Siri, stop. The fish are not going to go up and fly.
If they do, the level of success is probably pretty low. And then you
They're
want
going
to
to be
know why
laying
people are depressed, why they give
on.
up, why they don't. You're talking to them about how to do better in what their area expertise is, and they just can't hear it because they've got all these other voices saying, yes, but you should be a graphic artist. Yes, but you should be a blogger. Yes, but you should be on 85 different channels. Come on, people.
Yes. Now,
All while flying solo.
I will say, because, I just met with someone last week and she was saying, I'm a poet and I'm an actor and I'm a photographer and I'm, a cook on the weekends and a preacher on Sundays. And, I'm being funny
Oh,
now.
she's saying she's a woman.
Right, that part, right. I'm like, okay, so you sound quite normal, right? But she kept asking me, is it okay if I promote myself as this multifaceted influencer that does several things? And I said, well, why not? Sure. But your audience is going to be quite confused because if I'm coming to you for some preaching on Sunday and you cooking on Saturday and hooting hollering on Tuesday, I'm going to be a little confused, right? So, I think what Butler is saying is it's okay for growth. Don't be afraid of growth. Because I know at some points in my life, I think it's human nature to say, okay, I don't want any change. I don't like change, right? Change requires new thinking, new process, new people, potentially new environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scary thing. Let's be honest. But change is so necessary for growth. And so, what I try to do is I typically will, just put myself in environments where I'm learning something new, where I'm not there for 5 hours, right? It's not overwhelming. I'm not learning
Mm-hmm.
how to be a star, right? I'm learning something that I may be interested in, maybe passionate about, maybe saw and we're like, hey, I might be good at that, right? Now it's okay to test things, but it's also okay to say, hey, I'm just not good at that. Hey, something is for passion, something's for business, right? I think a lot of people are trying to perfect small crafts and making them into businesses. And it's like, no, babe, this may just be a passion project. You
Okay.
know, it's okay. So making those small incremental steps to gradually expand your comfort zone is the
Mm-hmm.
larger thing. As Miss T was saying, don't just run into it, right? Don't hit the gas and then later on want to retract and say, okay, wait, hold on. I think I moved too quickly in this, right? That was the Mary Kay industry. That was when the ladies were buying the corsets and everybody wanted to be a sales marketer. Everybody was like, yeah, I can sell anything, anything. Then you start knocking on doors and you're like, okay, I don't think I want to do this.
Mm.
I don't like this.
And that's why you need to know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
identifying your values, your goals. My mom used to sell Avon. She did good. We had Avon stuff all over the house. I was like, this is not. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing direct sales or what. This is not my. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't see myself there.
It
Now,
wasn't your wheelhouse.
no, and I see. Here's the thing: you'll have people who see your skill set, that you're a go getter and whatever, and you can move stuff, and then they want you to try and sell everything for them. I was like, no, no. I had to
Yep.
tell a couple of people no, and they're like, put her on your team. She'll be good. I know I would be, but no, this is not what I do.
I think, Miss Francine, that's a huge point because again, we've been talking about aligning with growth that is
Mm,
natural with your tendencies and skills. But you're to your point, you're absolutely right. Somebody had contracted me out for a sales role, and I was like, yeah, sure, simply because I had a good relationship with the person, and I'm like, I have a good personality. I like people. I can get on some phone calls. It just was not something I like to do. So two things may be correct at the same time. Yes, I'm good at speaking to people. Yes, I like people, but I don't want to sell your $1,500 product. I just don't, I don't want to do that. And that's okay. So I think it is a sense of saying, okay, does this work for me or does it not? Who am I as a person? What do I enjoy? And if you're starting from scratch, I always tell people go out and talk to maybe 5 strangers and say, hey, what is something that you would potentially buy from me or you think that you would, that I'm good at? Or maybe family members who know you a little bit better.
mhm,
Go seek out people who know you well enough to say, yeah, I actually call you, girl, anytime I need to get a feel. Or you may not notice it, but girl, you're great at washing my hair, right? If you are saying
mhm.
yourself, I don't know what I'm good at, you need to go back and look at some of your past experiences, which will tell you where you flourish.
Right. Got a comment here from Mark. He says, I am very good in the room. Opening doors, the worst. It is not my skill set at all.
Oh my goodness, Mark, I feel you. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to really target what we're good at, and that's the way you become an expert. Go narrow, and people are always going to want you to expand based on what is good for them.
Mm,
But is it good for you? And it's okay to do the things that are good for you and to eliminate the things that aren't. So put some extra nose in there just in case your approach, because once you're complacent, it's easier to learn because you're in a receptive mode. But if you're in there, you're trying to learn something new in the area that you're good at. Like, let's say you're sitting in a real estate conference, Fran, and you're getting calls about, hey, I need you to come over here and fix my roof, and I've got a crack in my driveway, and then somebody else is calling. I'm having financial troubles. Can you point me to somebody that can help? Come on.
and with that in mind, you cannot become complacent in your comfort
In
zone.
their comfort zone.
Right. Somebody equated to like stale chips. Okay, they've been in the back of the pantry. Um, you cannot be complacent. You still need to improve your skill set. But your skill set, not the
Mhm.
skill set of everybody else. Improve your skill set. So in real estate, there's a lot of little branches that I can go into. Do
Mhm.
I want to be in commercial? It's real estate, but it's different. Investing. eh, I, I'm not that fond of real estate investing. Sorry. That's just not what I'd like to do. I like helping people find their home, their first home, help them navigate the hills, the valleys, and all of the stuff that comes with that. And I feel good about when they get their keys and they're like, we did it, and they're all happy. And I enjoy that. I don't enjoy the tactics for,
Mm.
okay, let's get into real estate investment, and I want to, okay,
Mm.
that may not be, you may want to talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
And what is it, to their own self be true? Know what you love and be
Mhm.
okay with it. You know what moves your heart. You know what does not move your heart and you find uncomfortable.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's an uncomfortable about, okay, I'm learning something new and I have jitters when I'm diving off jumping off the high dive, right?
Mhm.
Okay, jumping off the high dive into the pool, you climb up the ladder and you just jump. You're going to have butterflies. Now, the other high dive that's 200, way up there off the side of a cliff.
Olympic height.
No, see, the one off the side of the cliff is not my comfort zone. I'm getting out of my comfort zone by climbing up and jumping off the thing into 10 foot of water. I am now for a diver that does cliff diving, they'll jump off the side of a cliff and go. I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping off and I'm not diving off
I'm not trying to convince myself to do it either. I'm
because
okay with being okay.
I'm okay with standing on the side of the pool and jumping in.
Mhm.
Butterflies are okay. Terror is an indicator that this may be way far out of your comfort zone.
And could have a real bad result. We have a comment over here from Mark.
Mark says, when I was at Price Waterhouse Coopers, let me pull this up.
Mhm.
When I was at Price Waterhouse Coopers, the partner always took me to meetings because I could see where pieces could be put together to combine initiatives and secure larger contracts. Direct sales? No.
He goes
Yeah,
on to
as one corporate professional to another, Mark, I think we see it a lot in the corporate world,
we
where they'll
do.
say, yeah, you're actually pretty good at this, maybe you should look into this, or that is something that I experienced quite a lot during my time at Price Waterhouse Coopers and a couple other companies that I worked for. They want you almost to do a job on top of a job, and you have to be very clear on your boundaries and your time to say, yeah, actually, I'm just going to do just my job, because absolutely.
Yes, and he says so much misery is created by people who feel that who they are is not enough, so they're always trying to be someone else.
Ooh,
Good.
that's good, Mark.
Right. So who am I trying to be? Am I trying to be me today, or am I trying to be Terry, or am I trying to be Sylvia?
Yeah.
I'm not picking up a sewing machine. I'm sorry. I had what was it in home ec?
Mhm. Mhm. You
I'm done.
made
I,
a little apron and that was it, right?
I was did
Yes.
enough to get up out of home ec. I'm cool. I'm not doing this. I'd rather go and find the clothes on a rack,
Mm.
pay somebody to make the clothes for me, or so. But I'm not
Yes.
going to get
And
that.
within that niche, I know what my comfort zone is. If I can't make it within a certain time frame, I'm probably not going to finish it because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to dwell on projects.
Yeah.
I don't, some people quilt and it takes them years to finish a.
No.
I'm not. That's not me.
Now, I do have to speak to those who, and they're not a lot of the folks that are currently on the call, right? It's just those
Mhm.
oddballs in the group that are like, yeah, nah, I'm always looking for a reason to give up, right? Because we have some people who are not
Mm.
as resilient as others, and we also have people like myself who could be probably a little too resilient, right? They will push and push to make something happen, where
Mhm.
it's like, no, this may not be for me, right? So just speaking on two spectrums, I think both can be quite dangerous because I think someone who's saying, nah, like, for instance, my father, you would think that man is allergic to cheese. He will not eat cheese on anything. Tacos,
Mhm.
pizza. I don't think you've ever seen a pizza without cheese, but I've seen it several times. Okay. And you would think that he was allergic. Like that's how he's like, no, I don't want cheese. Like he won't even taste it. It doesn't matter where we go. I mean, we've had so many different diverse cuisines where it's just a little bit of cheese. And he's like, nope, that looked like cheese. I don't want to taste it. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what I've learned and what I've had to tell him was, hey, you just never know. You might want to taste it. You may for me, because I was growing up with him for years, I thought I didn't like cheese because I saw that he didn't like cheese.
Mm.
It was probably a couple of years ago. I had a cheeseburger for the first time. And let
Mm.
me tell y'all, I said, well, what have I, sometimes you're convinced based on other people that you don't like something, or maybe you had a bad experience way, way, way back in the day, and you're holding on to that. Let yourself experience new things.
Mhm.
Be okay with saying, well, I didn't like it then, but let me just give it one more try. I tell people all the time, I'll try anything at least once. Now, you may not get me to come back, but I'll try anything at least once, right?
Mhm.
Because again, when you look at your life as humans, we are just a vast majority of experiences. That's
Sure.
all that we speak from. That's how we relate to each other. That's who we are. So I think we have to be very clear on, okay, am I allowing fear take control of my comfort, or is this really just something I'm just not good at, right? So we should be asking ourselves these questions as we are going into the growth arena. Am I afraid? Are these those butterflies as Miss Francine was talking about? Or as Miss T was saying, am I just, yeah, I don't want, I can't see myself doing this for a year. You know, I just know myself. Where are you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Right,
important
right.
to evaluate.
Mark has comment again, and he says, also, just because you're adept at doing something
Mm-hmm.
does not mean that it's worthy of your energy if it is in opposition to who you are and what you deeply desire.
I
Absolutely.
absolutely agree, Mark.
I do too, because
Look, if you don't want to do it, people just don't do it. Then do the Nancy Reagan thing and just say no.
Yeah.
Just move on to, because when you start filling your life with things that you don't want, there's no room for the things that you do want when you discover them.
Mhm.
right. And you need to get comfortable using that two-letter word.
Yes.
It
I
is
think
a
we
complete
hear
sentence.
I think when we I will say that I think when we hear complacent, we just think that we're not doing anything at all. And that's the
Right.
misconception. Sometimes complacency is just you doing the same thing you've been doing for the last 10 years. And now you're almost moving mindlessly because you're just so used to doing the same thing. So no, get some new experiences. Try something new, guys.
But the
Use
other
that
thing too, if it's working for you guys, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know,
right. Just tune it up. And like I heard somebody,
update it.
they
Yeah.
said, make the adjustment, edit. You take the car in for adjustments, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't take the car in and have it totally dismantled. You go in and you have the with a wheel aligned, rotate the
Yeah.
tires, stuff like that. You might need to do that as you're growing and as you're working within your bounds, within your comfort zone, within what you do. You just you just don't, okay, now I'm gonna put monster tires on the car. Okay, they don't fit. Just make the edits and adjustments you need to work within your skill set.
And here is Mark's comment. He says, "Always know your why. Why are you doing what you're doing?" And I think, Fran, you put it the other day. Think about what you're thinking about.
Yeah, why am I here? What's my motivation? Because sometimes you need to wake up and be going like, I didn't want to be a dentist. There are some people doing jobs
Yes.
that they hate,
Mm-hmm.
but they've convinced themselves that they like it because it makes money. That is the worst reason to do something, because it makes you money.
Mm.
You're not going to do it very well because there's doctors who have no bedside manner. They're
That's
good.
true.
They took all the tests, they passed all the tests, but they don't have.
They have no people skill. You know, I this is something that I had no idea even existed. That people don't have people skills. When I discovered people who actually don't have people skills, I was like, oh, that's what that is.
Like the greeters at church. You don't want the angry people at the front door trying to greet people. We even need to put, like Pastor Phil Jr. say, we need to put you in the back with the papers.
This is not your area of expertise.
We love you and want you on the team, but you don't need to be at the front door. You need to
Yes.
be back over there.
We need to reassign you to something a little more compatible with, your skills and
Right. And so, okay, because your comfort zone is not people. Some people don't do good with kids. Why are you in the nursery?
okay.
Horrible. And it's so funny. I was watching a show with my friend yesterday, David Ramsey, 24-hour like cooking show. And he goes into local businesses and literally like, it's like, hey, you're doing this all wrong. We have 24 hours to fix this. There's a renovation. I mean, he does everything from scratch. And what he was finding was, to your point, he had people in positions. I mean, cooks who couldn't poach an egg. I mean,
What?
managers who had no customer service. Like, I'm like, how? But again, complacency. You get yourself in positions, maybe promote somebody because you as the owner can't be where you need to be, right? And you just need help. And then you end up maybe not changing these things, or ignoring the issue or the gap in your business. And then now you are at risk of failing or being unsuccessful. This may be a business analogy, but you definitely can use that in your life. What
Mhm.
exactly, who or what is in roles or positions that they should have no business in. Okay.
Okay.
My God, Joe. Bernice doesn't like warnings. It's always been clear by that grimace on her face and the profanity under her breath. Get Bernice away from the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back
Yeah.
up, people. It's okay to not want to jump into another field. I know if I never see another university, I'll be okay. Okay, I got more pieces of paper.
No, seriously. This was my first year working with kids this year. And I said, oh, I'm glad I got the experience.
Because
I'm glad.
experience is what you get when you don't get what you want, right? Okay.
Exactly. And that's all I'm saying. Before you say no, just get the experience. Then I won't listen. No judgment here. If it didn't work, it didn't work.
And we're okay with that. And that's the other thing. Be okay with it. Be okay with being okay.
Yes.
Ooh, you know what I mean? Just
Yes.
be okay with being you. And I think we used to use the phrase "do you, boo."
Mhm.
Just and be okay with that. And stop letting people coach you out of your area of expertise. It's a three-ring circus. You're only required to be in one ring.
Right.
You ain't got to do all three.
Mhm.
Yes. Like
Now,
just thinking about it. If you have a problem, you know which friend you can call and which friend you can't. Like, oh nah, she gonna get too angry. Oh Lord, we're gonna be praying for 30 minutes. Oh Lord. Like I know not to call my grandma for certain things. Like I already know what I'm gonna get, right? It's the same thing with knowing yourself, folks.
Mhm.
That's all we're saying, being true to yourself. And I think to your point, Miss T, people in this society, they almost want to be what is that animal that changes colors?
the
A
A
chameleon.
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 A chameleon. They just want to be whatever the whoever needs from them at that moment. And it's like, no, guys, no, absolutely not. We're experts, we're scientists, we hairdressers, we're whatever you need us to be. And it's absolutely not. And to your point, I think that's why Butler and even I think Mark mentioned it. That's why mental health is so imperative.
Mhm.
You start bullying yourself. You're a total failure, and you had no business touching them clippers. You're not a failure. You're just in the wrong. You place yourself in the wrong positioning. That's
Right.
all. You will flourish somewhere else.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not yeah. Remember, so you do marketing, right? Simiana. So we saw this, you know how the club cards used to come, the postcards, the 4x6
Yes.
double-sided. One side of the card had barbecue, and the barbecue, you can get barbecue, call this number, whatever. Other side of the card had get your hair done.
And the same phone number.
Same phone number. I was like,
Now you probably say probably 30, 99, trying to get 2 for 1. And honestly, guys, in some perspectives, that's why I like to keep it real with my clients. That was smart. That was real innovative. But also was very lazy of you. Also, what does it tell our client, our business? And are you running both of these businesses? Is it a partnership? Is it, what is to Mark's point, what is your why? Why are we doing it like this? Why did we not feel that we needed to market just one business at a time, right?
Or market them separately. I mean, I'm in two businesses. However,
you put one
my
on this
husband
card
does
and
this
one
and
on
I
that
do that.
card. And because my first inclination was I don't want hair in my food,
Right.
and that was a subconscious thing. But you got hair, barbecue. I'm sorry.
Right. At
My
least like
question was,
barbecue and dessert, make it make sense.
Yes, put the peach cobbler on the other side, and the barbecue. Keep food with food, hair with hair. Just not mix it up.
Yes. Don't
Mhm.
do it, folks. It may make sense to you, but you may just be you cutting corners.
that's
Right?
what it looked like, especially with the same phone number. Okay, so your husband does this and you do that. Get separate cards. It's not
Yeah.
that serious.
Yeah. There's a
First,
reason why these larger corporations run the way they do, folks. Okay.
Mhm.
Stop trying to shortcut your businesses, your processes. That just means you have not taken the time to really do the work.
oh, uh-oh. Mark said too often people surrender to the notion of that's just how things are instead of consciously creating their path.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are either defending your limitation or advocating for your possibilities.
That is so
Oh.
true. I think I was watching a podcast the other day and it was talking about how you've been doing the same thing that you watched your mama, sister, cousins been doing it for years. And I had to have a real conversation with my mama one day. Like, so why are we eating Crystal? Why we ain't tried no Louisiana? Why we ain't tried no red hot sauce? Why just
Mm.
Crystal?
Mm.
And it was a simple joke, but it was the fact that her mama's mama is buying Crystal and that's what
That's the
she
brand
knows.
we grew up with.
No other reason. Not that it's healthy, cheaper, nothing. Just that's what I've seen my whole life. So that I think that's a really good point, Mark. Instead of just going based off of what you've been doing, ask yourself why. Is there a reason?
Right. So I encourage you to check out her book because it does. I was like, oh, the comfort zone. And you don't have to hustle outside your comfort zone. They get outside your comfort zone. Well, maybe you want to stay in your comfort zone and push the boundaries. But anyway, check out the book by Kristen Butler. Kristen, Kristen Butler. You can find her on Audible. I read with my ears rather than with my eyes. It helps me out a lot. And I listened to the book. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
There you go.
Thank you. This was a good conversation. Hopefully you all got something from it. I'm analyzing my comfort zones. Am I pushing myself on places that I know I need to improve upon? Because you can't just stay complacent, and making sure I'm not becoming overwhelmed by trying to pick up other people's perceptions of what I should be doing.
Mhm. So does complacency mean stagnation? So, there's a difference, people. So,
Right. We don't want, the comfort zone is not a place of stagnation.
Mhm.
It if you let it be a place of stagnation, yeah, you can stay in them sweats and sit up on the couch or whatever. But that's not what I know all the people in Biz Chicks and people who are watching, they don't do that.
Yeah.
We're not on the couch and doing stuff. We're out doing stuff, but we want to make sure you're in your comfort zone. Like we talked about, birds fly, fish swim. You're not going to see the opposite. The birds are going to stay in the air. The fish are going to stay in the water. They might meet, hey, guy, and go back to their what they do, but they're not going to try and come out of
Stay
their
in your natural habitat, people.
habitat. That's it. Find your natural habitat and work within your natural habitat. That's why I'm not going to Mars. It's not a natural habitat. If they got to create air to put it up there and try and figure out how to create water, why am I going? We got water, we got oxygen right here.
Well, my thing is, I have enough of a challenge just traveling across the country and around the globe. I'm not trying to expand the length of the trip. I'm just like,
and they have said it is a one-way trip.
No.
Because they don't have, right as it stands right now, if they got there, there's no way to bring you back. I'm like, oh no, see, this just on this
bless
planet.
them.
This planet we were created to live on this planet. This is our comfort zone. This is our natural habitat.
And I like it.
I do too. It may not be the best, it may not be everything may not, you might have to get out there and make some adjustments, but at least I can breathe and drink some water.
I'm good.
So find your natural habitat, live within it, expand within it, do you, but enjoy your life, enjoy your business. Any final words, ladies? That's all I got for today.
My final thought is don't forget complacency comes well before stagnation. So if
Mm.
you are feeling smug, if you're feeling like you're not doing enough, it's some inner work needs to start. So, and that honestly is the best time to explore new things. It's almost like revitalizing yourself, relearning yourself, and don't be afraid of that process. Stagnation is when you're just stuck, right? So complacency, there's going to be signs of complacency well before you're just stuck. Okay, so don't freak out. Don't say, okay, I'm complacent and I'm stagnated. No, typically it's not two of the same. It happens in levels and stages. And if
Yeah.
you are, get a part of a community like Biz Chicks. Okay, there's no way to be stagnated in a community like this one.
No, because we're not going to let you. So to join BizTix, you just need to text Biz to 33777 or go to bizchicks.net where you can sign up and get our newsletter, and where you're going to get some tips and some things happening. Like we got our block party coming up, first Monday block party coming up in July. We wanted to do something a little bit different. Let me see if I can find this photo for
I got
you.
you. Let's
Okay,
see.
thank you, Terry.
Mhm.
We wanted to do our Biz Chicks block party. It's $10 to attend. We are going to be having vendor space. If you want to showcase what it is that you do and how you do it, we're opening it up. We just want people to have some fun, come connect, network, share, grow, tell how you do what you do. And that's what we're doing on the first Monday in July. 6 p.m. We're doing a new thing. We're going to go to our office space. We got a caterer bringing in some good food. So come check us out. Um, we want to thank you for being a part of this Biz Chicks community. Mark, thank you. Dr. Tachi, anybody else who's watching live and on the replay, we appreciate you. Tell us what you do. We'd like to get you on the program too. So drop us something in the comments or in the comments on YouTube or Facebook or something so we can connect. Sylviana, Terry, thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Yes.
All right, ladies, we hope to see you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
And remember, we're here to help you take the hassle
Hassle.
out of
Mhm.
your hustle. And we'll see you
Yes.
next time. TJ's coming up tomorrow at 8.
All righty. That's Pacific Standard Time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye.